Engineering from Rice University. Kanan sir is a professor of chemical engineering, systems and control, and education technology at IIT Bombay. Sir has been with IIT Bombay for 25 years. Sir was a visiting professor at the University of Alberta. He received chemical and electrical engineering degrees from IIT Madras and Rice University. Sir has written two textbooks, Digital Control, published by John Wiley and Sons, Chichester, and Optimization, Theory and Practice, jointly by Professor M.C. Joshi, published in Narosa, New Delhi. Sir has published a large number of papers in referred international journals and conferences in the areas of mathematical modeling, control, and simulation. Sir has held the post of Associate Dean R&D, Head of OCE Automation, Head of the Center for Distance Engineering Education Program at IIT Bombay. Sir is a member of Standing Committee of the National Mission on Education through ICT, MHRD, Government of India. Sir is a life member of ISTE and CSI and a member of IEEE. Sir is now devoting his time on spreading education on a massive scale without quality dilution. Sir has been focusing on spoken tutorials, open source software systems, virtual labs, and low-cost tablet Akash. Sir believes that it is possible to provide high-quality education to all our children through a combination of education, information and communication technologies, making India a developed country in the process. Sir is developing open source equation-oriented simulators to model chemical processes. So is exploring the possibilities of integrating Open Modelica, Ascent, and DWSIM to come up with friendly simulators that are flexible and at the same time robust. Sir has created a virtual laboratory using a single board heater system. All experiments required for the first control course can be conducted on this apparatus from anywhere in the world, absolutely free of cost. He is working on the possibilities of using open source software in academic institutions by promoting Scilab, an open source software alternative to MATLAB. Sir was working on Akash, the world's lowest cost computer, and also its successor, a netbook computer, costing rupees 5,000, and developing educational content for these devices. As I had got the opportunity to be a part of 1 month residential refresher program for teachers at IIT Bombay, which was organized by Kanan sir and team, I can personally say that Sir is really helpful and approachable. Sir has actually given inspiration to always keep trying and contributing to the society for the betterment. On behalf of Sardar Patel Institute of Technology, I welcome you, sir, to this session with a virtual bouquet.
Thank you,
I
Sakina.
request, yes, sir. I request the participants to take an active participation in this session and make this session interactive. Any query or doubt can be posted on the chat. Sir will be really happy to answer these queries. I request all the participants to mute your microphone and video for a better experience. I now hand over to Kanan sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sakina, for the kind introduction. So I believe that this is a course on outcome-based education, case study approach. What I'm going to do is to talk about certain things that we did with a design component right at the beginning. I will tell at the very beginning what is the objective, why did we design in this particular manner, and whether we achieved it. So that is the way it is going to be the entire talk. Okay. So even though it is not for a specific course, it is for a whole program. Okay. So that you understand that it is indeed possible to design, to say that this is what I want to achieve. Okay, how do I do it? How do I achieve it? Okay. So let me get started. So what I will do is let me present now. So can you see my screen?
Sir, if you
Okay.
read in the presentation.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that, but once in a while I'll have to come back to this. But are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Okay, so this is a case study on spoken tutorials and FOSSEE, how we designed it, outcome-based design. Okay, you can call it that way. So the outline is as follows: design of spoken tutorials for IT training, spoken tutorials and other skills. Probably I will skip that second part. Attainable pyramids of excellence is something very important that I would like to talk about. When we started spoken tutorials, our motive was employment through IT. 50% of Indians are below 25 years of age, 2/3 below 35 years. But there are difficulties, because we should be happy about our country being a young one, but there are difficulties. Education quality, finding good teachers, providing jobs, these are all difficult. Fortunately, in terms of markets and opportunities, India is like a continent. So if only we can make use of this opportunity, then we can do something good. So we said, opportunity, let's give jobs, because if we don't give jobs, there will be a problem for our young country. IT training can improve employment potential because the field of IT seems to have large number of jobs. So now the design decisions start. This is what we wanted to do. Okay, we said that our method should be an economical one. Cost to teach a person should be low. Only then we can cover many students, because we are a country of 1.3 billion students, 1.3 billion people. We have 300 million students, 350 million students. So it's a very large number. This is applicable especially to missions. Okay, our project is funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT. So missions are concerned about, for example, training the whole country, impacting large number of people. So spoken tutorial project is funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT, as I said. Spoken tutorials are designed for large-scale IT training with the constraints. Don't have teachers. Many students don't have access to colleges. They have access to colleges. There are not good teachers. There are good teachers, no resources. There are all kinds of problems. And the next one is students are not necessarily fluent in English. We may not have good internet access. We don't have money to buy commercial software. We have no money to buy commercial software. I'm not talking about illegal use. Illegal use is anyway not acceptable. And we should not expect the students should bring in expensive equipment in order to use our methodology, whatever that is. And then we should be able to accommodate community. Community should be able to participate in whatever we are doing, and we should be able to give them honorarium if the mission permits a honorarium. And then once our learning content is created, it should be available to everybody, without demanding a lot of money, right? All these requirements turned out to be useful in the current COVID-19 situation. So I will show you how our spoken tutorial program met all these constraints. So that's why I say that it is a design. We design it for this, and then I'll explain to you how we went about. Spoken tutorial is a 10-minute long audio video tutorial for IT literacy and employment. So let's address them one by one. Don't have teachers. So we said, can we train our students on IT topics through self-learning? It is important because many students don't have good teachers, as I mentioned earlier. Solution, we came up with this method. Like movies, our tutorials will also ask for script, except that before I convert a script into a video, I will ask a beginner to certify that they can understand. Okay. The script not approved by a beginner is returned for improvement. After passing the novice check, the script is used to create a spoken tutorial. So this is the graphic that explains this. We write a script, then we ask the question, can a beginner understand it? Most of the time the answer is no. We say, improve the script. Okay? And fortunately, it is not an infinite loop. It comes out at some point in time, the beginner understands it, and then we record a video using the script. So this is the method. This is an extremely painful process. It can take a long time because often the experts don't understand the level of the beginner. Our target audience is the beginner. And beginner is somebody who starts on anything new. If you are a great programmer in C, but you want to learn Python, at the time of learning Python, you are a beginner, and so on and so forth. So we want them to understand, right?
Welcome to the spoken tutorial on embedding mathematics in XFIG.
So that is one sample tutorial, spoken tutorial that I created. Then the next issue is our students are not necessarily fluent in English. So we ask this question, and the answer is, let's make our tutorials available in our languages. Okay, how do we do that? We have to do the dubbing, but we should not lose employment opportunities. What if we say you should use Devanagari typing? Who will give them job? So we said dub only the audio into all 22 Indian languages. The video will remain in English, so students can use normal computer, normal keyboard.
C++ में कंस्ट्रक्टर्स और डिस्ट्रक्टर्स के स्पोकन ट्युटोरियल में आपका स्वागत है. इस
स्पोकन ट्युटोरियलच्या क्रिएटिंग बेसिक कंटेंट वरील पाठात आपले स्वागत. या पाठात
फ्लो शीटिंग அறிமுகம் குறித்த ஸ்போக்கன் ट्युटोरियल नल्वरவு.
जावा इत्यस्मिन् अंकगणितीय प्रक्रियायाः पाठं प्रति स्वागतम्. अस्मिन् पाठे वयं विविधाः अंकगणित प्रक्रियाः अभ्यस्यामः. ते संयोगः, वियोगः, गुणकम्.
So you would have guessed by now.
तथा एते.
It is Sanskrit. If I can dub tutorial into Sanskrit, I can dub it in any language. As I mentioned earlier, employment in IT industry needs English, so we dub only the audio. And fortunately, it has another benefit. Dubbing requires only 5% effort. Okay, because the video remains the same. You don't have to do that script checking and all that once again. We have more than 1,000 tutorials in English. We have 10,000 dubbed tutorials also. It's useful in our neighboring countries also without any additional expense because we share languages. We dub in international languages also.
Bienvenido al tutorial hablado de LibreOffice Writer.
Bem-vindo a spoken tutorial em.
We also have dubbing in Thai, Khmer, Arabic, Persian, Vietnamese, American English, and so on. So we have some inputs for policymakers. Dubbed audio helps people not fluent in English, whereas the video in English helps retain employment opportunities. This is the quickest way to train the public and make them problem solvers. Okay, we don't expect only the English-speaking people to be able to solve. We can't do that. We need people who are not necessarily fluent in English because they make 90% of the population. They should also get into this act. So we should quickly train them. So our method is very useful. Okay? At present, English speakers are mainly the problem solvers. They may not even understand the problems. Okay? The next issue that we considered was we don't have good internet access. Can one access spoken tutorials even if internet is not available? For example, Jammu apparently had only 2G till recently. This was a complaint made by one of them saying that, how do I access all these courses? So we said, no problem. Our spoken tutorials can be accessed even if you don't have 4G, 3G and all that. I will explain how. So we made an offline application so that one can download an entire series as a zip file, copy that into all PCs and use offline. Our access went up by 100 times. So we could conduct a workshop for 250 people. We in fact invited all degree college teachers from Mumbai We conducted a workshop on LaTeX. You can see about 250 people. This auditorium was full. We could even conduct a workshop in Myanmar. Interesting thing is, Myanmar didn't even have reliable power supply. Even electricity was not there. Forget about internet. So you might ask, how come I took this photograph? Bulb is lit. So the answer is that actually we waited for electricity to come to take this photograph. You can see all of them using only laptops. Nobody is using, desktop computers. The next point that we addressed was no money for commercial software. We said, let's work only with open source software. In fact, I'm going to call it FLOSS a little later, but here I have called it open source. It is suitable for nationwide education, suitable for manpower rich, capital poor countries such as ours. Next one, I should not demand expensive equipment. So we say, for example, use screencast, use just computer screen capture. In fact, we could create spoken tutorials even with a 10,000 rupee laptops that we introduced 2 years ago. No need for expensive studios. You don't need pin drop silence studios, for example. The cost will go up. Not only that, we will also prevent people from lower economic strata of the society from the creation process. Okay. And then community creation with honorarium. So supposing the government gives me money and says, why don't you create it, give some honorarium? What if I say that only people with, highly trained people should contribute? Anybody, so long as the tutorial is created with very high quality, I should be able to accept it, no matter who creates it, right? So community should also be able to create it, and they should also be able to benefit by this honorarium, certificates, such rewards. Who is ideal? In fact, I asked this question. Who is ideal to create a tutorial on determinants? We are talking about talking about school children. A good student from the 9th standard for their own class, or for these children, we ask a Nobel laureate to create. What do you think? Okay, put it on chat. I'll see your answer later. Who is ideal to create a tutorial on determinants for 9th standard students? Okay. Of course, the answer is obvious. The answer is the student from the 9th standard, because he or she knows what their colleagues know. What their colleagues know is known to the student, whereas the Nobel laureate may take up some high fancy theorem and so on and so forth, may not even know what the students know, what they don't know, and so on, right? Of course, we always say highly of peer learning, for example. The community participation is important. Let the honorarium go to them also, to the school children also. For example, in this case, somebody who learns our process and creates, we pay 10,000 rupees to create a spoken tutorial of 10-minute duration. And only open source software is affordable. So expensive studios, etc. are not affordable. That means even to create the software, even to create a spoken tutorial, we recommend using open source software only. So for example, we don't demand, okay, some fancy features of commercial software to create spoken tutorials, to create video materials, are not even encouraged. We just use the simplest open source software. Whatever it is capable of, only that is required. So once again, expensive studios, etc. are not affordable. Then can't pay to access spoken tutorials. I have created, people should be able to access it. So we said that we will release it under Creative Commons attribution, share alike. In fact, non-commercial is also not there. People can even conduct workshops and charge some money, for example. Anyone can download free of cost and watch them. To summarize, spoken tutorial is a 10-minute long audio-video tutorial created for self-learning, and the audio is dubbed into 22+ languages, downloadable for offline use. Additional constraints, we said no registration should be required, no login. You come to spoken tutorial logo is this. It says it is open and connected. No login is required. We don't ask for registration. We don't ask for login. You come and access our tutorials. And we also made a policy decision that we will not use IIT Bombay logo we should stand on our own. And we extensively use the spoken tutorial logo. So here is a method that we recommend to use spoken tutorials. Here video is the spoken tutorial. Here it is the software. Here it is Scilab spoken tutorial that I have opened in half the screen. What you see is the entire computer screen. In other half of the screen, you see the software, the Scilab software. So it reduces cognitive overload. How does one learn? One listens to the video, one command at a time, and practices. If it doesn't work, rewinds, listen to it, try again. It will always work because it is created for self-learning. Okay, remember that novice check of the script. So it is created for self-learning. So people will be able to definitely follow it. In case they cannot follow it, maybe they made a mistake, we tell them rewind, listen to it again and try. It will always work. This is, of course, possible only with open source software. Video should be available free of cost. We are making spoken tutorial available free of cost. Software is open source software. That is also available free of cost. So we can promote this method. As I mentioned earlier, listen to a command, pause, try the command on the software. If it works, go to the next command. If not, rewind, listen to it, repeat until the tutorial is completed. The method is identical for all series, all levels. Every learner can become a trainer. Method is identical for all series, all levels, whether you do Scilab or eSIM or PHP or Python or anything, OpenFOAM. Method is or LibreOffice or Blender, 3D animation software, or Arduino, spoken tutorial. It doesn't matter. The method is identical for all series, all levels. All learning happens only through spoken tutorials. Only the learning method has to be conveyed. Namely, for example, I showed you the side-by-side method. You keep them side by side and watch one tutorial at a time and so on. That is a method. How does one use spoken tutorial? Only that has to be conveyed. After that, everybody is on their own. Anyone who undergoes a workshop, hence, can themselves conduct such a workshop. Or it could be teacher who does this. It could be a student who does it for their classmates, and so on and so forth. Are the design decisions useful? We trained 70 lakh students, 2 lakh teachers, and a large number of universities and colleges are officially using spoken tutorials. The spoken tutorial approach helps different types of audience. Introduction, this is LibreOffice, alternative to MS Office, and then programming, basic programming required in education, in basic courses, advanced programming, simulation users, graphic artists, like I said, Blender, and then chemistry, biology, physics, mathematics. That means even for school level students, we have topics. For accounting also, front accounting, we have spoken tutorials. We have 75 different courses, and these are growing. What about visitors to our web portal? Lots of page views, large average visit time, and then very small bounce rate. So I have given a TEDx talk also. You can listen to it if you are interested. Okay, next we went to a subscription model for training. For example, MHRD said, Ministry of Education now, they told us, your method seems to be very popular. If it is really popular, okay, people should be able to pay a little bit, okay? And using that money, you should eventually become self-sufficient so that MOE can use that money for some other activities, not for spoken tutorials, because spoken tutorials can support itself if possible. They said explore. So we went for a paid model for online tests and certificates. It was introduced in August 2018, okay, just 2 years ago. So I will tell you what is the difference between the free model that we had before and the paid model. Okay, so I'm going to compare the paid model and free model in this manner on the 4 heads. Before August 2018, the CC BY-SA, no registration, no login, open source software, online test was also free. Only the online test became paid. Okay, everything else remained the same. Okay, but we came up with a very low cost, really low cost model. What is that? We said that it will be at the college level. It is not at the individual level. Online test and training in colleges, and invigilators, the names of invigilator and the college will appear on the certificate. For the whole college per year, the payment is only 25,000 rupees, and it allows up to 1,000 certificates to be issued in that college. Okay, that means the cost of a certificate need not be more than 25 rupees, for example. More than 1,000 science and engineering colleges have joined in this program, and they are benefiting. Some benefits I will indicate shortly. And for schools, we came up with an even better model, 5,000 rupees per school, and we are saying it is up to 500 certificates per year for school children. Okay, now payment means, can efficacy also increase? It turns out to be that way in this program. I'll explain to you. Previously, when it was free, only 15% of the people whom we trained took the online test. Okay? But after we introduced the paid program, the number of people taking the test increased to 50%. That means it increased about 3 times. 50%, at least 75%, if not 100%. Not only that, we said we will also come up with job fairs for high performers. Okay, what is a job fair? Collect the high performers in the spoken tutorial online tests, and we conduct job fairs for them. For example, we organized one with NASSCOM. 10 companies participated. 30 students out of 40 received 2 jobs each. By the way, this happened in January. We are going to do it in a bigger way, much bigger way, in the month of May, June. But you know what happened in May and June? We could not do that. In fact, we suggested to NASSCOM, why don't we do this online? But then NASSCOM said that because of pandemic, many people have lost jobs and highly experienced people are available. And so this is not a time to look for placing beginners, that is just college graduates. Let's wait for some time. Once the pandemic is over, once things improve, we can go back to that. This is what they said. So we have, for now, we have postponed.
Hi, my name is Shraddha Sue and I'm the Senior Manager Talent Acquisition for Rave Technologies, as you see. So firstly, it gives me an immense pleasure to be a part of this campus today. And we have been conducting interviews since morning, and we have got our select today. So I would like to introduce him. His name is Mayur Wagmode. Okay, and we have selected him for our company. Yeah.
I'm Mayur Wagmode from Pune Vidyarthi College of Engineering. I'm currently in the final year of computer engineering. There are not companies coming to our college, but I thank to Spoken Tutorial and NASSCOM for arranging such a beautiful mega job fair.
So you saw the testimonial by one student who got benefited by this job fair. As he mentions, some colleges don't get campus placements. Their students, especially good ones, suffer. So we can actually collect them and ask them to, how do we collect them? Because if they are part of this online test subscription model, as we call it, and if they do well, then we know who they are. We can invite them to participate in the job fair. It turns out that for companies also it is a problem in recruiting, because it happens in both good colleges and low ranked colleges. If they go to highly ranked colleges, what happens is small companies get their turn only on the 3rd day, 4th day, things like that. By that time, they lose out on good students. But if they go to a college that is not so well known, there is no guarantee that they will get anybody. Okay, they may not even have many people, they may not be able to talk to people. So as a result, it is a problem for small companies wherever they go. So here, the companies were very happy. The 10 companies that I told you about were very happy that in one go, they could get 30 students got 59 jobs, as I mentioned. About that means 10 companies had given on an average 6 jobs each to all the students. So they were all happy about it. Okay, so I will skip this. So here is a testimonial from our minister. So let me play this. He spoke this.
As I mentioned, spoken tutorials, they are prepared by Bombay IIT. But IIT Bombay has prepared those spoken tutorials. It is giving lessons in all languages. And one language is Sanskrit. And therefore, when I heard the tutorial of IT, of all lessons, they were in Sanskrit, and it was very effective.
So the minister was talking in a World Sanskrit Meet in Vancouver, in Canada, in front of 500 Sanskrit scholars from all over the world. Okay, so that's why he mentioned Sanskrit, but he listened to spoken tutorials, as he mentioned. Okay, other governments, Telangana government uses, Odisha government officially uses, and so on. I'll skip these. Next topic I want to take up is pyramids of excellence through FOSSEE. Okay, once again, we are going to design a pyramid of excellence. I'm going to tell you how we went about designing. We are talking about outcome-based education. Here, spoken tutorial we have done. Now I'm going to, go one step ahead, and I say pyramids of excellence, okay, through FOSSEE. Okay, I called this open source software, but here I put free and liber, and open source software. Now, what is this liber? Liber is a French word. It means freedom. Why this is put? Because this free, people are not sure what it is. Is it free of cost or is it freedom? It actually indicates freedom. There are 4 types of freedom as far as software is concerned. What are these? One is you can use it. You can use it the way you want, number 1. Number 2, you can distribute it. Third one, you can modify it. Fourth one, you can distribute the modified software. So you get 4 freedoms. Okay, those 4 freedoms are indicated by the word liber, French word, which means it is liber means freedom. So freedom is actually more advanced concept as compared to just being free of cost. Okay. Of course, sometimes we drop this word liber, and we may just call it FOSS, F-O-S-S. Liber drop means it becomes F-O-S-S, but people interchange this, but think of it as freedom. Okay, whether you call it FOSS or FLOSS, this F should denote freedom. So why FLOSS? We can use it legally, free of cost. Some people think that when they get a letter from AICTE which says that you should use licensed software, some people think that AICTE is forcing you to buy software. That is not at all true. AICTE doesn't force you to buy any software. It just says don't use illegal software. FLOSS also comes with a license. For example, it could be BSD or GPL, or there are several variants of these. Any of these licenses is okay. AICTE will be quite happy with that. So don't think that AICTE forces your college to buy software. That is not at all true. FLOSS allows learners to become better programmers. Okay. For example, giving a car to an auto mechanic and say, no, you can't open the hood. Repair it, fix it, improve it, but you cannot open the hood because, I will not allow you to do that. Whereas you would want him to open it, take out parts, clean it up, modify it, fix it, put it back, and things like that, right? So that is all possible in open source software or FLOSS. It is free of cost to industry also. Our students become industry ready. Otherwise, what happens is you create a student, produce a student, the student goes to industry and the industry says, look, we don't have that software. We can't use, whether it is MATLAB or SPSS, whatever it is, or Fluent, they might say, look, we can't use it, or Cadence. So then there is a problem. So can we have alternatives? So that is where FLOSS comes in. Of course, it is ideal during pandemic because students can download and use it locally. They don't need to connect to your, license manager, for example, and every time there is an internet break, they have to connect once again, and they may get thrown out halfway through their computing. Okay, they might be doing a lab and they are using some toolbox. Suddenly, it throws them out, and they try to connect again. They are not able to connect because the license, the seats are full, for example. All those problems are not there. It is ideal during pandemic. We promote FLOSS through FOSSEE, which you, and spoken tutorial. Spoken tutorial you have already seen, but FOSSEE is something that I will talk about now. Okay, remember we are talking about constructing pyramids of excellence. So we, first of all, construct the lowest level, bottommost layer of the pyramid through spoken tutorials. That is, train everybody. Remember, we talked about national level training. Train everybody. Okay. And I told you that we should do it at a low cost. In fact, the cost to the project till now, that is, number of people trained, the money spent on the project divided by number of people trained, it turns out to be something like of the order of 30 to 40 rupees per person that the government has spent on the project. Okay, that is the total money the government has spent and the student has benefited. Okay? Just imagine learning a C programming in 30-40 rupees, learning Java or Python or Blender, whatever it is. So that is a very low cost for the government. Okay, so and such a method is, of course, highly suitable, most appropriate for this kind of mission projects. I told you that we are funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT, right? So the first layer of the pyramid is constructed through spoken tutorials. We say train everybody. Okay? Then we construct other layers through FOSSEE. FOSSEE promotes Scilab in the place of MATLAB. Sakina mentioned while introducing me that we promote Scilab in a big way and so on. We promote Scilab in the place of MATLAB, XCOS in the place of Simulink. I would even go to the extent of saying that Scilab is better than MATLAB in certain respects, especially for teachers, especially for setting problems. Okay, XCOS on cloud. FOSSEE promotes computing. By the way, this was done by some FOSSEE fellows. I'll talk about it shortly. FOSSEE promotes computing. We promote Python. OpenFOAM in the place of Fluent. Here are some pictures created by OpenFOAM. Okay, computational fluid dynamics software. We promote R in the place of SPSS. eSIM, electronic circuit design software, in the place of ORCAD, PSpice, LTSpice, and so on. It can actually do mixed mode simulation developed by our own project, FOSSEE. So here is a mixed mode simulation circuit, schematic of a mixed mode simulation circuit. We promote DWSIM and OpenModelica in the place of Aspen Plus, ChemCAD, SimSci Pro, and so on. SimSci and Pro 2. DWSIM is what we promote in the place of those commercial software packages. And for power system simulation, we use OpenModelica and OpenIPSM, and these replace all this commercial software. And I mentioned the graphics and animation, GIMP for Photoshop, Inkscape for, these are all proprietary software, and you see these are all open source software. And we promote QGIS in the place of ArcGIS. Linux in the place of Windows. And then OpenPLC, this is a hardware that we built. And in fact, we are working with some people overseas who developed software. We developed hardware, they developed software, and we are working together. One is from Portugal, the other one is from Austria. So we are working with them. We conduct online workshops to train students on contribution. For example, DWSIM workshop. We conducted them in pair, advanced and beginner, for example. I'll come to that shortly. Similarly, JMOL, OpenFOAM, also conducted workshops on Scilab, Synfig Studio, and R Advanced. Okay, using these tutorials, using these training methods, we train. Of course, we have been training people on many other methods earlier also through spoken tutorials directly, for example, also through their colleges. And these students, a large number of students participated. For example, we know of at least 5,000 students contributing to us, and there are many more people who might have learned, but they didn't create to FOSSEE, contribute anything to FOSSEE. They created what is known as textbook companions. These are code to 150,000 example problems using Scilab, R, and Python. How are we doing with respect to time? Otherwise, I can give a demo of textbook companion. Can somebody tell me how much time do I have?
Sir, actually come at 6 p.m. but then generally they join 10 minutes before. So you may continue, sir, for 15 more minutes.
Okay, so what I will do is I will not give a demo. Towards the end, if there is time, I will come back to this. Okay, but remember this textbook companion that we have a large number of examples coded by students using Scilab. DWSIM students across the country developed 175 chemical flow sheets. Each flow sheet is a process. For example, nitric acid manufacture, ammonia manufacture, things like that. What are the different components and what is the configuration? How does one do simulation of that and so on? 500 electronic circuits, 100 open form case studies. You saw some pictures that I showed a little earlier, etc. And all of these are made available free of cost to everybody through FOSSEE.in. Okay, and this is the logo of the FOSSEE project. So now this is the second layer. Scilab textbook companions, flow sheets, circuits, case studies, and so on. Through that, we created the second layer of the pyramid. Next layer of the pyramid, we do FOSSEE fellowship. For example, we did for summer fellowship 2019. In fact, we started in 2018, 2019, 2020 also we did. In fact, we did even better this year, even though there was pandemic. People joined from home and it worked very well. Okay. How did we select? Once again, I'm going to tell you the design. Everything is about design. How did we plan the whole thing? Okay. Outcome-based education means you say, I want to achieve that. How does one design all that? Here I'm talking about designing the whole program. So we said that people should complete a task. We announce a task. You want to participate, you have to do one of these tasks. Not based on marks or college branch they come from, not through tests that have train collision problems and the like, but they have to solve a problem. And we will check whether they solved the problem, then we accept. It's actually a project. Okay, this approach worked very well. And every year, all 3 years, in fact, these fellows have been getting better and better. So we get together, discuss, work on it, and the design process involves a lot of people working together. We even got an IEEE conference paper in T4E 2019, results of crowdsourcing and performance-based selection. So we in fact compare this performance-based selection with test-based selection. Normally we just do a test, take the toppers. Now here we said, no, we will not do a test. You have to solve a problem. If you solve that problem, I'll take you. Okay. Much useful work got done. Some sample view graphs. They created eSIM on cloud. They created Arduino on cloud, Open Modelica, Kemen simulator, and then hackathons. 8 Scilab toolboxes were created using Scilab Toolbox Hackathon.
FOSSEE IIT.
We also did an animation hackathon, so I'll skip that because of lack of time. So by this, we develop the third layer. First layer, training lots of people, training everybody through spoken tutorial. Then they come and create textbook companion, flow sheets, circuits, and so on, case studies. And then next level is, they create cloud solutions, they develop some software, the hackathon output, and so on and so forth. Okay, FOSSEE fellowship output and so on. And the next level is doing research, building simulators, etc. And finally, major projects, entrepreneurship, starting their company and so on. But look at this. As they go up, they get better and better. These are all, each layer denotes a set of students. You have lots of students here, you have very few students here. But nobody is restricted. Anybody who does a decent job can go to the next level. So what happens is everybody at a level will say, look, if only I had worked hard, I could have gone to the next higher level. Now, why should they go to the higher level? Because, can you tell what happens to people at the highest level? Can somebody guess? You can put it on the chat. They can get jobs. They become better, right? They can be placed anywhere in the world. They are so good. So people at the lower level will say, hey, I could have gone there. Everybody will say, I could have gone to the next level, right? If only I had put 10% more effort. Okay? Because we don't have any restrictions on how many people we want to accommodate. This can be a very huge layer, for example, right? Like I said, students at the top of the pyramid can be placed anywhere. Seeing this, those at the lower levels will aim higher and they will also achieve. As a result, what will happen is the whole pyramid will get lifted. Everybody, even on the bottom level, people will aspire. It will not become so narrow, it will become broader, for example. We need thousands of such pyramids for our country. We need such a pyramid for Scilab, we need such a pyramid for OpenFOAM, we need such a pyramid for eSIM, Open Modelica, DWSIM, then education technology, every one of them, you just name it, Moodle, we need such a pyramid, and so on and so forth. Okay? We need it for chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. You take a topic, you take a software close to that and say, I'm going to construct a pyramid using that, for example. And it has to be open source software, of course. To conclude, ICT-based education provides a lot of opportunities, and suitable design of educational methods is important. However, if you design it properly, then it is going to help you. Then, of course, designing it for course level is definitely helpful. We demonstrated some of these through Spoken Tutorial and FOSSEE projects because this approach is through case study. So, as a case study, I am presenting Spoken Tutorial and FOSSEE projects to you. These are our contribution to national education policy and Atmanirbhar. So, with this, I conclude my talk. Our project is funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching. In fact, this is the program that conducted the 1 month long training program that Sakina mentioned at the beginning. And both are initiatives of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Thank you. So I'm going to see, we have 10 minutes. I'll see if there are any questions. I'll answer them. If there are no questions, I'll go and give a demonstration. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so I don't see any questions. If there are any questions, you go ahead and ask your questions. And
Sir,
I will.
Actually, I have a. I'm very reading the. Actually mentions.
So your voice is breaking.
Yeah, your audio is not coming clearly. You can put it on the chat if you have a problem with the internet.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So really, I mentioned.
Unfortunately, we cannot understand you, so I cannot answer your question.
Prashant, so I request you to put it in chat as it's the voice is breaking.
Yeah, what I will do is, in the meantime, I will give a demo of cloud.scilab.in. This cloud is something that we constructed. Let's see whether it works. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time, but it seems to be working. Let's wait for it. Okay, in the meantime, let me show you the offline version. Scilab.in. Okay. So this is the offline version. Of course, this is available to everybody. So we have something called Scilab Textbook Companion project. And in this, you have something called completed books. Completed books, how many are there? 626. What are these books? These are standard textbooks in science and engineering. For example, you can say that I want to select electrical engineering. I can say control systems. Then you have all these books. Then you can say, for example, BC-CO, Automatic Control Systems, standard textbook. So you have this book, and this, so what did this person do? Arpita Hadar, who's from NIT Surathkal, what she did was, for every solved example, we are not talking about unsolved problems. For every solved example, she gave Scilab code. So if you run the Scilab code, you will get the same answer as in the book, for example. Okay. So, for example, you can actually download it. You can download all the codes for the entire directory. You can download the PDF. Let me just download the PDF and then show you what it looks like. So here it is. BC-CO, the book that I talked about, it's a control system book. And you can see all of this list of Scilab code. For example, if you want to say mass spring system, okay, so let's see this. So this is for example 4.4 in that book, and here is the code. Now if you solve this, you get the same answer as in the book, for example, right? And of course one can copy this. Let me see if I can get Scilab running. The Scilab, because it is open source software, I can always open it. Of course, provided it works. It works. So I can always say that, let me copy this. Well, there is a better way to do that. So I will not copy from the PDF file. Okay, what I will do is, remember this is the PDF file we downloaded, but let's download the code. For that, instead of doing that, I will say, let's go to, I'll give another example. Let's take frequency domain analysis. So I will not, what I will do is, I'll say body plot. In the body plot, let's say 9.15. Open with Emacs. Let's open it. So here is the thing. So what I will do is, I will copy this and I will come to Scilab, Alt V, got body plot, right? Body plot, and it tells you what is the phase margin, what is the gain margin, you know, things like that, right? So everything is given. So of course, it's also on the cloud. I'm not sure why I'm not able to. We seem to have some problem on the cloud. Otherwise, we could have just executed directly on the cloud. Okay. So you can try it later. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Let me go back and see if there are any questions. Yeah.
So, am I audible, sir, now?
You're better now. Go ahead, please.
So, thank you, sir. Sir, actually, the pyramid has to go broader as the time progresses.
Yes.
So, how much is the duration for the pyramid to become broader in the actual sense?
Let's first construct. Then we will know the answer. We are not even constructing.
Okay, sir. Okay. So it is in the process. Okay.
No. So I have constructed a few, but I'm saying for a country of our size, we need at least 1,000 such pyramids, and every institution should try, and they should at least join hands. You should encourage your students to join our pyramid building effort. All of you, ask your students, for example, to participate. For example, we send invitations to, to 40,000, 50,000 colleges, 50,000 departments rather. And not many people participate in our fellowship, project work, for example. So we want, So what I suggest is how to join. So remember I told you about FOSSEE, F-O-S-S-E-E. So our website is fossee.in. Our website is fossee.in, and you will keep visiting. Normally we announce it in the month of January, February, but mind you, we want you to use all this. For example, if you say Scilab, let's go to Scilab. I showed you Scilab. we showed a textbook companion project. On this textbook companion project, we have something like procedure. I'm clicking here, right? I click this procedure, it says, so for example, procedure, you learn Scilab. Resources are provided at Scilab resources. We actually tell everything. Come and learn. Don't wait for somebody to come and teach you. So this Fossee.in is an amazing project. We have lots of nice things. We have resources on Scilab, Python, eSIM, OSDAG. This is civil engineering, steel design software, DWSIM, chemical engineering, computational fluid dynamics, Open Model Eco was mentioned, amazing modeling software, programmable logical controller, PLC, Scilab Arduino, single board heater system, R for statistics, QGIS for GIS, okay, geographic information system. And then Focal is an amazing thing. This is the one that coordinates the activity of Blender, all the graphical software, right? So this is the way to do it. What is better,
Yes,
Scilab or Octave? So, so the answer is, you should be asking a different question. So you should ask, how can we compete with MATLAB? Okay, it is not, should I use Scilab or Octave, but can we somehow combine Scilab and Octave together? Can we compete with MATLAB? Can we challenge MATLAB? Right? So because both are open source, one is callable from the other. Okay, we have made Octave callable from Scilab. All Octave functions are available from Scilab. Okay, in fact, our Scilab optimization toolbox is better than MATLAB optimization toolbox, for example. Now, why did I choose Scilab? Why did I not make Octave the base? That is because Octave does not have Simulink equivalent, right? Whereas Scilab has XCOS, which is Simulink equivalent. That's the reason why we chose Scilab, and all Octave things are available. So the question should be, how can I introduce these? And let me stop presenting so that, yeah. So the question should be, how do I use these resources? How do I train my students? How do I make my students benefit by this? They first benefit, in fact, but interestingly, they also get benefited. How do they get benefited? For every one of them, for example, I showed you this textbook companion created by the student from NIT Surathkal. Okay, she can give that link to anybody. In fact, we know students who got, in fact, we got a message from a student from NIT Trichy. He said that he got a summer internship from a company in Japan, and that is because he participated in textbook companion. He sent the URL. We give certificates, we give honorarium. Of course, for honorarium, we have a little bit of difficulty right now because of the pandemic. The government is also finding it difficult to support some of these activities. But honorarium doesn't really matter. The certificate is important. More importantly, the link, the URL, right? That you can actually give the link. And there was a student from another college. He was applying for MS in Rutgers University. He was applying for teaching assistantship or TA, RA, one of those. And the faculty member there asked him, how do I know that you know programming? So this person just gave the URL and immediately got the benefit. He got the SCOL immediately, and this fellow went to Rutgers. So these are all real cases. And of course, employment, I told you, that is an immediate benefit. If they do well in our online tests, they can do that. So I would encourage all of you, all your colleges, to join this program because it's a very low cost, and it is going to help your students in a very big way, right?
Sir, I have actually not a question, just a query.
Yeah.
Is it okay? It might seem very small question, but actually I am doing my PhD at IIT Bombay now, and I didn't know about spoken tutorials and because you gave the lecture and I knew about it. So there are many things in the college that we do using Scilab, but I never knew that something related to it was being done in IIT, especially even I don't know if you know about MB Patil sir's SQL, which is very nice software to do circuit simulations, and we are using that just because sir said that we have this thing.
Yeah.
But I think many colleges do not know. So what can be done about it? I mean, we want to use that, but many times we don't know about it.
Yeah, so we do publicity. Good question. Thanks for asking this question. I want every one of you to say at the end of this day, you should say that you will share this information with at least 10 people. So I see that there are about 45 people here attending. So if each one tells 10, 12 people, it will reach 500 people, right? We should use it because all of it is available free of cost, right? So, and that will be an amazing thing if people use it.
Yes, sir,
We should do a better publicity, but what I'm saying is, for example, you are a PhD student. You can talk to your RSF, for example, Research Scholars Forum, and then you can invite me to give a talk, and I'll be happy to give a talk to all the research scholars. And there are, in IIT, there are, a couple of thousand research scholars. Even if, few hundred join, and they all tell 10 people, they all tell their colleges. Of course, they would have done MTech, MSc or something from some colleges, and they can go and tell, and they can give talks in their college about this, for example. I want every one of you to organize talks in your college. Feel free to use my slides. I will make my slides available to the organizers of this workshop. Please take it, use it. Everything is released under CC BY-SA. You have absolutely no problem. It's a legal use. That is what I would say. Okay, it's a request to all of you. Please spread it because the government has anyway spent the money. Anyway, taxpayers' money has been spent in creating all this. Why not put it to full use? Our C programming, for example, we have trained 10 lakh students on C programming using spoken tutorials. 10 lakh students. And it was created, amazingly, by a 24-year-old Ashwini Patil, who had done MSc Computer Science from Mumbai University. Because of the method we have chosen, because of the design that we created, design process that we implemented, and we checked every stage, it became so good that we could train 10 lakh students. Okay. Similarly, we have, because when I told you that we trained 70 lakh students, so we would want everybody to become an ambassador. I benefited, let me talk about it. I learned it free of cost, because when I told you that it costs only 25 rupees for a certificate, 25,000 rupees is not too much for a college, right? Because sometimes they spend their money in creating a brochure or in producing in a party of some sort. But there's nothing. Students they don't even have to charge anything from their students. So more or less free of cost to the students. They can go and tell their other friends and colleagues in other colleges to spread this message. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Pallavi. What are you studying, Pallavi, at IIT?
Yeah, I am under Jayanta Mukherjee, sir, doing research in antennas.
Okay, very good. So in fact, I gave a EE example. I'm sure you would have studied gain margin, phase margin, and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And sir, she is from the organizing committee.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So any other question? Otherwise, I think I have exceeded the time. Okay, thank you.
No, sir. Sir, just a minute, sir. Yeah. I would like to conclude this session, sir, for you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
On behalf of, yes, sir. On behalf of Sardar Patel Institute of Technology, I thank you, sir, for enlightening this session on spoken tutorial and FOSSEE, how to write a script and the importance of writing script. So thank you for making us understand the importance of use of open source software and Scilab particularly. I am sure all the participants will use spoken tutorial for their learning as well as introduce it to the students for their benefit. So thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker will just join in shortly.